Ladies and gentlemen, FrozenStag here, and welcome to a brand new series for Crusader Kings 2. Not a Game of Thrones. This is a vanilla series set in the year 1066, and a custom scenario that I've edited and created myself for the period. Now, I'd probably recommend watching, and there's a video going to be left in the description for you to go click on, that a overview and installation guide that I made about this scenario. I've released the save as well, so you can download and play this save along with me, as well as an overview of as to the scenario of what's going on. So, we start in the year 1066. Now, for those unfamiliar, well, I'll give you a bit of a, basic idea of what the hell's going on. By the late 10th and the early 11th centuries, the Muslim world was changing, with Turkish dynasties such as the Seljuks and Ghaznavids now dominating Persia. The Byzantine Empire was still holding its own, but was to see worse times coming. Central and Western Europe was split between France and a strong Holy Roman Empire, while Christian Kings was advancing against a fractured and weakened Muslim Spain. Scandinavia was quickly converting to Christianity, and the Norse settlers in Russia and Britain had become assimilated with local populations. Yet Viking descendants of Normandy and Italy were preparing new conquests, and the time for the First Crusade was approaching. So yeah, that is the basic setup. And for those unfamiliar what's going on in England, a succession crisis has begun. I'll go into this in a minute. Now, a succession crisis begun with the death of King Edward the Confessor. He left no other heirs and declared no other heirs, apart from the rumoured idea that on his deathbed he let Harold become the king. But he also promised the throne to William the Normandy before that. So it's a little bit unfamiliar as to who exactly wanted to rule the throne. However, there was one member of House of Wessex left, and they had something to say about the current succession. So, let's begin. Now, yeah, I'm using an edited scenario, which I basically edited myself with a few different things. So I'd recommend watching the overview install guides to have a look at how to install it, and also the overview to what's going on there. But yeah, where to begin, I suppose. So Edward the Confessor died at the age of 63, was it? That's a good guess. I had a feeling it was 60 something, because 63 was right. So, the Vikings have sort of ruled over England for a fair bit since Sven, and then Sven fought Beard. And then eventually Ethelred took it back. He then got deposed. Ebony Ironside took it back again. He got deposed. Canute the Great took over. Harold, his next son, took over. No, his son, sorry. And then his other son, Nud, took over. And eventually Edward the Confessor was put back on the throne in 1042. I'm going to load the music a bit because it's a little loud. There you go. So, Edward the Confessor is dead. And before his deathbed, he left no children, so he promised the throne to William of Normandy some years before his death, and eventually also pardoned and promised upon his deathbed the throne to King Harold. Although that could all be rumour and Harold could have made it up so he can get the throne, but William the Conqueror is coming, or William the Bastard at the time. He is coming with his army to take the throne because he believes himself to be the rightful king. Harold, of course, disagrees, and while that's going on, the Vikings from Denmark and Norway have also declared war for England for their individual claims, as well as bringing alliances from the Holy Roman Empire, the Isles, and over in Russia to their side as well. As well as in the opportunity this war began, the Tudors of Britannia have declared themselves the rightful kings of Wales due to their distant descent of Welsh line. If I go back a couple generations, you'll eventually see it. There you go. Due to their distant relation to the Welsh kings a couple of years ago, a couple hundred years ago, they declared themselves kings, have declared war on England as well for a claim on Cornwall, which is they claim it as their rightful territory. And are calling their allies in France as well. In the north, in this chaos, Scotland has also declared war on England to try and take some more land off them. And while that's going on, the opportunity arises for King Edgar to try and take the throne. Now I'll give you a bit of backstory to the whole sort of who Edgar is and what's going on. So Edgar was a distant relation to the son of Edmund Ironside. When Edmund Ironside was deposed, he left Edmundson. He went into exile and went over to Germany, Hungary area. And he was gone, basically. There are some more brothers here, but I don't think they've been added into the game. No, they're not here. No. Edward, yeah. Because I think Edward has a few more brothers, but I don't think they're in the game. But yeah, Edward the Confessor left no children. And Edward's sort of claim was ignored as he fled over to somewhere in the middle of nowhere, so he was sort of basically ignored. Edward eventually returned as king and won back the throne, but had no sons. So basically what happened, Edward was eventually retrieved around 1050. 1057 he was retrieved from Germany with the help of some bishop, and was returned to England. However, Edward the Confessor did not name Edward as heir to his kingdom, because Edward actually shortly died afterwards, and I'll get into how he actually died. Now, Edward the Confessor was one of the pious and one of the most pious kings, a charitable king. He was a decent king. He was the reason that, I mean, people still talk about the guy, you know, 1,000 years later. So obviously he was a decent king, and he did a lot to sort of make sure the Vikings were pushed out of England and basically to establish the country of England now. And that's, unfortunately, it's all gone downhill since his succession crisis. Historians still now feel his succession crisis was, you know, one of the biggest. His death left such a massive hole in his succession crisis, and it was just such a mess. However, he did not name Edward as his successor because Edward he felt was too weak, too much of a craven, too slothful, and too proud, and not enough piety was shown. So Edward decided to. This is going to get a bit confusing, but Edward refused Edward Edmondson because he believed him to be weak and too much of a coward and wouldn't make a very pious king. So Edward took that a bit fucking harsh and decided to leave England and go into Wales. Now his wife disagreed, Agatha disagreed, and told her husband that she should stay in England, stay here. Maybe Edward will change his mind, whatnot. Edward has no children. He's going to have to name you as his heir. And Edward wasn't having it and decided, fuck it, I'm going, screw this, I'm going to get my throne. Edward believed himself to be the king because his father was king, so he and his grandfather was King Ethelred the Unready, so yeah, he believed himself to be the king, so he was very much certain trying to prove himself. So Edward went off to Wales. His wife refused to go, and kept his sister Christina in England. She also refused to go with her father. However, Margaret obeyed her father, and Edgar, who was about 6'7" at the time, decided, okay, I'll go, and off they went to Wales. However, unfortunately, there was an ambush attack by bandits. Some wonder if these were assassins sent by Godwin himself, or maybe these were assassins sent by Edward the Confessor himself, or maybe the Normans, because some wonder if Edward the Confessor may have already named or planned to name William the Conqueror, William the Bastard, his heir, and potentially Harold as well. So he didn't do that. So that's why he didn't name as heirs. But unfortunately, Edward was caught off guard in a bandit attack and was killed. He tried to flee, but was stabbed in the back and died. And so ends Edward Edmondson. Now, eventually, thankfully, over as time went on, the previous king of Deheubarth, watch me butcher those words, Maradod managed to actually save the boy Edward as a kid, and he actually raised Edgar in Wales, and basically became a bit of a father figure for the kid. And Edgar, valued Maradod very, very well, and he was basically he felt as if he was his dad. He didn't really remember Edward that much. And his mother and other sister was still in England. They didn't come with. Margaret as well also educated her brother and looked after her brother. But they couldn't have done it without the help of Maradod over in Deheubarth. So basically, over time went on, Maradod trained Edgar for martial focus and fighting. He got his marshals and other stuff to focus Edgar for fighting. Now, previously to, eventually, so a little later on, Grufford II was the king. And he was actually killed in battle against Harold II when the Welsh began their rebellion. So his death, when he died, actually made a lot of people pretty fucking angry. So as you can imagine, Many of the Welsh wanted vengeance for the death of their king, and they would certainly get that with Edgar. Edgar was a trained fighter, he was a brilliant fighter, he was a commander, he knew how to lead a battle, and he was pretty much the ideal, king for England, really. And he, there was a lot of holy uprisings, such as the heresies. Many heresies, like the Lard heresy and Cafar, kept rising up in Wales since the death of the current king. Edgar would have been 13 when the other king died, so he wouldn't have been involved in like, the fighting or anything. The other king of Wales. So Edgar, when he was 13, took to the sword, got on his horse, and started dealing with these revolts. He managed to rally up troops from the different Welsh kingdoms and mercenaries and fighters, and rally them against, and basically lead them against these heretics that get rising up, trying to take over Wales and whatnot, and causing a lot of trouble for people. Edgar, after time went on, after 2 years of, 3 years, until he was 16, going around dealing with these heretics, crushing any heretics, dealing with any English warlords trying to attack Wales, or any Irish or Viking warlords attacking, he kept defending Wales and became a bit of a defender of Wales as time went on. His natural ability to lead gave him the trait inspiring leader. His ability to fight the holy warrior is very, very high. He's a natural fighter when it comes to fighting against his own people, or fighting against the heretics, sorry. He's a crusader. He's earned his name as a crusader even before the time crusades were a thing, and has a natural talent for crushing and bringing down the enemies of the Catholic faith. He's also kind, despite him, bringing down and crushing the heretics. He's still at the above kind. He's also gregarious. He's a very socially competent person, and is quite a fair bit of diplomacy. He's also very diligent. He has one of the 4 of the 7 virtues industria, which means he's very active and does a lot of stuff. So he's very diligent, and he's also brave. He's not shy to jump into a battle and bring down his enemies. He is pretty much a badass. He is brave, and he has all the decent makings of a knight, really. He's also a hunter. In Wales, it's a hard land. It's very rural, so he had to make his ends meet, I suppose. By hunting was a natural way of life back in medieval society, especially in Wales, and he spent a lot of time hunting and earned himself a reputation of hunting. I could have given him zealous as well, but I thought that was probably too much. That was probably making him too overpowered. Inspiring leader. He's an organizer. He's very good at logistics and whatnot, and moving troops about and getting men about. And he's also made himself as a brilliant strategist. He's got very good education. He knows how to lead an army. He's pretty fucking badass. He's the ideal perfect king, really, in terms of military focus anyway. So, as time went on, the Scottish led an invasion into Wales due to trying to claim some more territory, trying to make their power a bit stronger. King Malcolm III led an invasion force and launched an attack against the Welsh. Now, the Welsh were a bit fucking battered up since the War of England. They lost their king, and the Welsh kingdoms were split into 3 different parts. You had Powys to the north, to the south, Deheubarth, and Cadwgan over in Morwang was to the south as well, and various other little lords and minor states as well. And the Scottish invaded and began an invasion, which was successful at first, but then Edgar decided to start leading tactics to try and make the Scottish supply line fucking dodgy. Now, the Scottish went through Lancaster and made a deal with the Duke Vlad to mask their presence from the English and allowed them passage. Duke Vlad didn't have a lot of fucking support. He had 800 men versus 2,000. So the Duke of Lancaster wasn't really going to say no. He couldn't afford to say no. However, he did have an alliance with Robert Hauteville. So while the Scottish were moving troops through Lancaster, he sent a message to the Duke of Apulia over in southern Italy, and he sent an army over to assist the Duke of Lancaster, his brother-in-law, or sorry, his niece's husband. He sent forces over from Sicily to garrison Lancaster to make it more defensible if the Scottish potentially try and cause them trouble. But the Duke of Lancaster just allowed them access and said, go ahead, but don't come into my lands and get involved in my borders. And so Scotland went through and invaded Wales. The invasion went well at first until it didn't, and they eventually took much land. They captured the King Maredudd, had him executed when he refused to give up the rest of where Edgar was hiding with his men, along with his brother Earl Rhys. So Maredudd was beheaded and hanged on the orders of King Malcolm III, and left his body on display in much of Wales. So he basically sent each of his body part across Wales and basically made a fucking show of it. This, as you can imagine, enraged the Welsh. The Welsh were fucking furious. And as you can imagine, this is a perfect opportunity for Edgar to rally the support of the Welsh. He rallied up the support of the Devilpath, all the different kings of Wales, and he brought them together, and he basically launched them together at the Battle of Ross and beat the Scottish army. He then also lured them onto the island of Anglesey, and he trapped them on the island, and then basically fired catapults, crossbows, all that stuff at the Scottish forces that were now left trapped in Anglesey, and crushed their army. Eventually, the Scottish brought more troops down and mustered at the Battle of Chester, where they advanced against the Welsh army, and then the Welsh basically lured them into a trap. They lured them into their own territory, and with the power of hills, they basically made them climb up hills and eventually encircled the Scottish army, crushing them on the battlefield. Even capturing King Malcolm III as well. Now, King Malcolm III was actually spared as a sign of mercy. Edgar wasn't going to kill him, but he spared him and demanded him to leave the lands of Scotland, lands of Wales, and if he ever returns again, he will not make it out alive. So the king fled with what men he had and demanded Lancaster to give him more men. Lancaster refused. Now the Norman troops had arrived from Sicily, and Lancaster told the Scottish king, "You're too far from home. I think it's time you went home. If you don't go home now, I will let the king of England know, and then there'll be war." And so the King of Scotland swallowed his defeat and went home. And from that day on, the Edgar proved himself a capable warrior and the makings of a great king. Now, King Edgar was named the successor to the Kingdom of Deheubarth, which caused a bit of controversy. Edgar was like a son to Maredudd, and Maredudd felt right by naming him as heir. He also saw Edgar as a brilliant fighter, commander, and warrior. He felt as if that Edgar's rule over Deheubarth and his leadership over Wales could unite the people against any other threats. And he knew this, and that's why he wouldn't give up Edgar. He wouldn't give him up, and that's why he let himself die because of this. So Maredudd died, was hanging on the orders of King Malcolm III. He was dead, and he named his Edgar as his successor. Which, as you can imagine, to many other Welsh lords, they weren't overly happy. So it caused a fair bit of controversy. But Edgar was crowned king. He had won the support of all the kingdoms and all the peoples in his fight against the Scottish. And so he was crowned the rightful king of Deheubarth, which caused a bit of controversy. But Edgar would soon have some opportunity to fix that. Over in England, King Edward the Confessor had finally passed away at the age of 63. He had been suffering from an illness for quite some time. And when he died, Harold Godwinson claimed that he had allowed him to be the heir, and he claimed himself the rightful king of England. And he attempted to marry his son Prince Godwin off to Christina, who was the other sister of Edgar. Basically unifying the House of Wessex and House of Godwin together, basically strengthening the claim of England strengthening his claim to England, basically. He also married Queen Eldgith, who is the sisters of the current Dukes of York and Mercia, both winning their loyalty as vassals, as well as many other lords as well. If you watch the overview, I'll explain why there's different lords, why there's the Stuarts and the Yorks and the Lancasters are present in this game. I recommend watching that first. So Harold did that, married Christina off to Prince Godwin. However, Agatha said, "No, I don't want my daughter to marry your son. You don't deserve the throne." Agatha almost got herself killed because of it, and Agatha actually managed to flee with the band of priests and monks and nuns over to Wales. And she eventually grouped off her son, and then discovered that her son was indeed the current king of Deheubarth, and was immediately impressed. Agatha was very happy with her son, and placed the idea that Edgar should be king, and that the English King Harold has taken the throne and usurped the rightful House of Wessex from the throne. So Edgar, with the influence of his mother and many other Welsh lords who also want to seek vengeance against Harold for the killing of their king before, they sort of want vengeance and are pushed to the idea of going east to fight the English. Now, King Edgar has a nice big army. He has basically rallied up the forces of Wales and has won them over through alliances. Now, Edgar, for a little while, has made friends with the King Godfrey of Ireland and has won his support with the Non-Aggression Pact, and also has allowed Godfrey has a massive Viking host and has sent some troops over to aid the Edgar in hopes that England will be a friend to Ireland as time goes on. So, King Edgar, to secure the alliances of everything around him, he's married his mother off to Earl Rhys, who he's become friends with, and he was sort of his uncle growing up as a kid. To secure his loyalty, to make him happy, he promised him the lands of Deheubarth once he becomes King of England, and he's also married his mother to him to secure the alliance. That'll make him pretty happy. So he's done that. To secure more alliances, he also agreed to take Earl Bledon, his other friend he made. He agreed to tutor his newborn son for 16 years until he comes of age. That is Edgar's promise. Edgar's also, to win the support of the Kingdom of Morgwang, he has married his sister. Willingly, Margaret was happy to do it to help secure the Wessexes back on the throne, and Cadwin was pleased as it meant he may have a claim to England later down the line. So he married his sister, winning the alliance of Morgwang. Now the final alliance had to be made between the King Bledin of Powys. His brother was the last king who died against England, so he was keen to fight against the English. He also controlled one of the strongest, largest kingdoms in the era. Oh, I've clicked off the game. Whoops. And so to secure his alliance, he agreed to marry his daughter Gwen. And that's her traits there. So they have a decent alliance. She's quite lustful. He's very interested in her, as you can imagine. And Edgar is married her, and that's won the alliance of Powys. In doing so, his leadership and martial prowess, his legendary hero status, has earned him the willing power to rally up many of the Welsh countrymen and ride them over Gower. He's also, with the backing of money and financial support from the Welsh kingdoms and some of the Irish, and King Godfrey, he's given him a lot of cash to basically bring forth a mercenary army to his cause, as well as many Welsh forces, and some of the English nobles and warriors from England have flocked to his banner as well, believing him to be the rightful king, as the last of the descendants of the House of Wessex. He's the descendant of Duke Edward and Ethelstan. So he believes himself to be the rightful king. So many English soldiers and fighters come over to him. Some of the Scottish that were captured in the war before have also joined his banner, believing him to be a better king than their own. And some of the Irish forces have all gone over to give him a hand and whatnot. I can't remember if I've got any more. No, I think that's all I got, yeah. He's also made a few friends with lots of the vassals as well. But yeah, I don't have a lot of time to record. I got like 9 minutes and I'm going out the door basically, so I'm going to try and get a bit of action in today. But we'll see what happens. So what we do first of all is rally up our troops at Gower. We have a claim in England. Now, so there's a lot of people claiming England, so like, naturally we're going to have a hard time in this campaign. It's going to be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to playing the vanilla game for a change. Become King of Wales. Yeah, I think maybe Groom and Heir for now. Because right now we don't have an heir. We can't actually revoke tiles, so the revocation of this place is bloody hard. First order of business is setting up a council. We got the Chancellor, Earl Bledon, Marshal. We don't actually have many people in the court, unfortunately. I think some of our mercenaries should hopefully make a court tutor for now. Yeah. What I will do is send for probably a noble, I suppose. Yep, he can be my steward. Collect taxes for the time being. I probably need to invite a holy man as well. Oh, I can't. Oh, because my piety isn't very high. That's fine. I'll recruit a court physician for the time being. And we'll promote a commander, make him How many commands can we get? We get... right, okay. No, I can't. I can only do it once. Prestige isn't high enough, damn it. Okay. Let's see if we can get some people to join our court from the far lands. It's a bit loud. That's a way to get people to join your court and stuff. I'm trying to get some nobles to join me because that might give me a bit of I might be able to give them some land later down the line, so get them to come to our court. We can't make another commander. Set our crown focus there for now. Our character focus right now should probably be war focus, as we're trying to claim the throne. We're worried about furthering the dynasty later down the line. Although we do need to have a son, otherwise we're buggered, basically. So we are on the clock for that. I can make him a court chaplain. I don't know why we'd do that. We will revoke titles for now. Get that going. Although our ruler's not too bad. The war declaration, that is sort of council thing, which is annoying. We should try and get rid of that at some point. But let's wrap the Welsh troops. Probably rally the mayor, actually. And I'll get all the troops to join up with me. Or our Welsh forces. It should be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to this. This is nice to play even in the game for a change. But yeah, I've got a little bit of time today, so I'm going to try and... yeah. So I'll try and get a bit of action in if I can. My wife is actually against it for some reason. That's odd. Hunt apostates. That's, you know, we're quite sort of focused against the heresy, so we're a staunch Catholic. So this guy's come to my court. Excellent stuff. Lando, is that Lando? Like that. Excellent stuff. I'm sure someone else come to our court as well. I've got a spare commander as well, just in case something bad happens. You never know in this game. Yeah, we'll lead the troops ourselves. Let's see, captain of the white band. I'll get these guys to lead for now. Unfortunately, our holy warrior traits aren't going to be that great because we are actually fighting. We are fighting other Catholics, so it, you know, that's not going to make much of a difference, unfortunately. Should be pretty fun. I'm looking forward. It's just nice to play even in the game for a change, really. And we've also won a bit of support there from other people. The Norwegians are attacking, so we need to get the Welsh forces together. Improve that. Wonderful. That makes our job a little easier. I imagine this succession is going to be all different for England. My marshal tells me that all my commanders' land has improved significantly. Oh, brilliant. Might come in handy if we're doing any defensive battles. But yeah, I'll try and get a bit of action in this... Oh, okay. King Harold II has landed a fucking... Okay, that's really stupid. Yeah, so just a friendly reminder that I'm playing against the AI and not real players, because no one would be stupid enough to do that. Can you imagine if we captured a king in that battle? That would have been so anticlimactic. But yeah, so the Irish are... Yeah, I really recommend watching my video, because otherwise... Oh, okay, we're about to go into... Oh, we're actually about to fight the Normans. I kind of don't want to fight the Normans, because although they might actually get in... Yeah, fuck it, we'll kill them. And we'll fight Normandy, and that will get them out of the way. Yeah, Godfrey's declaring the war for Ireland. The Scots are involved. The Norwegians are claiming England. There's a lot going on. The Welsh and the Holy Roman Empire fighting. They're also involved in a Seljuk war as well. There's a lot going on. I will do a quick save as well. So yeah, let's see if we can get a bit of action in, and then I'll end it off there because I've got to go work in a bit, so I don't really have a lot of time. But I want to get the first episode done and recorded so I can upload it next week. Alright, let's begin. So, we've got this guy. I don't know where the... Oh, William's gone bugging off down there, brilliant. Alright, let's do this. Who's that? Another commander's just joined. It's not really the army we should want to be fighting. Yeah, we can... Oh shit, my sister's been imprisoned. Oh, Duke William captured Oxford and captured my sister. Shit, okay. See if we can get her back. Oh, no, I don't think we can. No. There you go, we shall fight the commander. We're kind, so I think we'll let him live. Yeah, we're keeping Princeton for now. And with that battle there, I think he might have won the fight against the Normans anyway. Oh, Duke William's coming in. No, I think he's just buggered off. Oh shit. Harold's up there, let's get him. Edgar marches troops north quickly. No, actually, I'll take back this place. No, he's definitely taking my sister north. Oh, he's fighting Moray. What are they doing? Oh, right, they're involved. Because they're fighting against the... Alright, here we go. Against King Harold himself. This guy, the Bolingbrookes. Oh, the Bolingbrookes. They're, I'm hearing about them. Let's see how well this goes. Oh, the Danish are coming in. Ooh. My commanders there getting a bit of heavy hitting there. No, but I think we have one. Eventually the mercenaries are going to run out. So it's a safe bet going off to... Alright, yeah, because these guys are attacking as well. There's a lot more Norwegians in the north, which is a problem for us. Oh shit. No. Duke William's come back again. Guess we'll fight him. He's here himself actually this time around. My guy on the other side got kicked out of the flank. Yeah, they don't really have the money for that. Not why I'm supplying mercenaries right now. We already lost quite a few troops in the fight, so what we do is we move down to Middlesex. Oh, look, there's an opportunity for me to get in there and kill some English there. There's a lot more Norwegians, which is the issue we're going to have. Let's wait for them to finish fighting, then we'll jump in. We are quite ambitious, so I think we'd go for that. War in War is Christian audience. Yeah, got him. It appears as if the entire court is abuzz with story of his exploits. This is Egbert the Proud. Seemingly of great renown. He wishes to swear fealty to me, having heard of my relation to legendary Alfred Ethelwulfson of Wessex. Is that Alfred the Great, I'm guessing? Yeah, I think so, yeah. Fantastic, we'll take him. Wait for them to finish fighting, then we'll finish off the English. There we go. Straight into the battle, he's got no commander on his flank. Now I think we've got this. Come on. There we go. Okay, victory is ours. Against the English anyway, and the Norman forces as well, coincidentally. However, there's a lot of Viking forces, which concerns me a great deal. He had like 9, unless he's lost a bunch of his men sieging stuff. And Sven has the backing of the Holy Roman Empire, so that's also going to be a potential issue for us. Haven't seen any French forces, I've seen some Tudor forces though. But I don't see the French. Let's see if anyone's died so far. No, Dumnar's still alive. Duke Falkest is alive. They're just doing court stuff. Lancasters are alive. York's still like got all his shit, like arrest stuff at the moment. He's still alive. The Bruces are alive. They're in fighting actually. What about the Viking woman in the north? No, she's still alive. No, she's actually got concussion. That's not great. And how's the King of Ireland's war going? Oh, he's dead. King Godfrey's dead. Died a natural death. That sucks. But he's still got a lot of wars going on. Interesting. Let's see how well that goes for the Irish. Although, we'll see. But anyway, I will have to wrap up the episode there. I've got to go to work, unfortunately. How dare I have to go to work. Annoying as shit, I know. But when we come back, we will carry on with our war against England, and we'll probably try and march on Middlesex, I think. Try and get the Welsh out of the way, bugger off, and then try and take their stuff, I guess. The also thing is, with the Welsh war, he's actually doing the jure claim, so we can't actually, because this is all Welsh territory. So we won't be able to do a jure claim, we'd have to claim the territory back. Which would be a bit annoying. Yeah, Harold's still alive. One of his brothers died, actually. Died of the script of a mill. Yeah, I don't mean anyone. What's Tostig in the north? There is. It's up in Norway at the moment. But anyway, that is all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and until we meet again. And I hope you guys are enjoying this series. Feel free to leave me some suggestions and ideas for what you'd like to see next in this Wessex series. I plan to do this for quite a while. I plan to do a bit of an England series for quite a while. We'll see how far we go down the Dynasty, I suppose, for House of Wessex. I may even play as another Cadet branch for the House of Wessex later in the line if it gets a bit stale, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, that is all for now. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys are looking forward to the series. I am as well. I'm looking forward to playing some vanilla CK2 for a change, rather than Game of Thrones all the time. In terms of the channel, what's going on? Basically, I've got a series coming up, England, or the colony of Virginia for the Medieval 2 Total War Americas campaign. I've been editing the scenario, and it's going to be an alternate scenario where Arthur didn't die of smallpox or consumption or whatever it was. And instead Catherine of Aragon died, and instead Henry VIII actually didn't become king, and instead went off to the colony of Virginia and landed in England in the New World a bit earlier than planned. So we play as Henry VIII over in the New World, in a scenario where he didn't become king, which would be quite interesting. And then we got a few, another, so yeah, during the Dynasty series I decided to end because I just wasn't enjoying it. We're doing more House of Dragons, so that'll be up as well. I'm going to try and do the the Virginia series today and get that going, and then we'll do the vanilla. We'll do the vanilla CK. We have the vanilla CK2 series going alongside it, and at some point we'll just carry on House of Dragon for CK2. And once I've sorted some things out and got a new hot seat going for the War of Conquest scenario, I'm probably going to look at doing something fantasy related for Total War. Not really sure what it will be yet. However, suggestions are indeed welcome. I'm thinking DAC. Or potentially Game of Thrones-ish, sort of, maybe. We'll see. But anyway, that is all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and until we meet again, farewell.